everyone. So I really wanted to make this video. This is just gonna kind of be like a little like story time video for you guys. I've been watching a lot of other people's story time videos here on YouTube, and I really wanted to make one of my own. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what this whole video is gonna be about. Now this story in particular is gonna be about like different weird like paranormal related things that have happened in my house with my great-grandparents, like before and after they passed away, and just other weird things that have kind of happened in my house. Now I may have already mentioned some of these things in previous videos, like my paranormal experiences video and other videos like that, but if I did, then please just excuse it, because just let me refresh it back into your memory, because I really wanted to make this video and this was honestly all I could think about. So yeah, I can, because I did have batteries for my camera, but they're like little cheapo batteries, and like as soon as I put them into my camera, like they were brand new, I just opened them out of the package, and as soon as I put them into my camera, turned it on, the thing freaking shut back off and said that it was a dead battery. So yeah, I'm stuck using my webcam for right now until I get better batteries, but let's get into the video. Years ago, back when MySpace was really popular, me, my mom, and my dad liked to take pictures around our house. Kind of like to see if we could capture any orbs or anything like paranormal like in those photos. We were going around our house, we were taking pictures like walls and in the hallway, around their bed, in the kitchen, like just pictures, random pictures around the house, like near the wall. After we got done taking these pictures, we were looking through them on the computer, and most of them, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. There were like one or two little orbs here and there, but they were really small, and I think we didn't really think much of them. And we came upon this one picture. Now this picture was taken right near our refrigerator in our kitchen, and there was like a reflection of something in the refrigerator, and my dad was like, "What is that?" So he zoomed in on the picture of the reflection that was on the side of the refrigerator, and it looked like an old woman standing right beside the refrigerator. It was like her reflection. It was like the reflection of the light on the refrigerator, but it looked like a woman standing in that reflection on the refrigerator. It didn't just look like some strange old woman, like it looked like our great-grandmother who used to live here. Like this used to be their house. I don't know if I mentioned that already or not, but this used to be their house. They used to live here in the kitchen a lot. She used to love cooking and baking different things, so it made sense that she would be near the refrigerator, near the kitchen. I don't have this picture anymore, unfortunately. I think somehow it got deleted on MySpace, but it was a very legit picture. Like, we didn't know how to edit any types of pictures like really good, like Photoshop or anything like that, and I would not make any of these stories up. Like, I truly believe that that was my great-grandmother in the reflection of the refrigerator, and I wish that I still had this picture, because if I did, I would definitely show it to you guys. But creepy thing that happened here in this house. Creepy thing was when I was younger, when I was a really small child, I used to collect tea sets. Now I had like more than a few tea sets. Like I used to like collecting them and just having like a big old tea set all together. When I was like probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6, I was around like toddler age or like really small kid. Tell my mom that I would play tea with a man covered in red stuff. Kind of assuming that this red stuff was blood, just by the way that she would tell it to me, because what else would be red stuff? You know, I played tea with a man covered in red stuff. I mean, wouldn't that freak you out if that was your kid telling you that? Like, it would have freaked me out if I was my mom. Supposedly, there used to be a railroad track where I live in my little neighborhood, and I think that the railroad track supposedly got derailed or something like that. There was a big accident with the train or whatever, and a lot of people got killed within that accident. We were playing with the Ouija board. This was just a few months ago. This was really recently. We were playing with questions about the man that I used to play tea with. And it came through, this man came through, I forgot his name. He said that he was killed in that railroad accident, and he used to live in this little area. And he had a kid of his own, and this kid died all of a sudden, passed. She was around my age, and she was a little girl. And that I reminded him of his daughter who had passed away, and he really missed her. So he spent time with me and stuff, because I guess that kind of reminded him of his daughter. Now, I don't know how true this was, but it was some man who came through on the Ouija board, and I know a lot of people are going to give me hate for that. But yes, I do play with the Ouija board. I have used one several times before. I have my own opinions on it. It's cool. Like, I don't think that you're automatically going to get possessed if you play with one. I think that you do have to be very careful. I think that it is possible. But I remember the man, what he looked like completely in my mind. But I can remember it, like, very faintly. I can remember, like, bits and pieces of it. And she said, when she was talking to me, it was kind of, like, coming back into my memory a little bit. I could kind of remember a little bit of it, but not clearly, if you know what I mean. It was a long, long time ago when I was really little. I honestly believe that it was blood. It was a man covered in blood. So, on the subject of my great-grandparents who used to live here. My cat is being, like, really loud. I was gonna make this video in my room, but I wanted to have, like, a different area, a different position somewhere, because I don't want them all to be in, like, the same little area all the time. Like, I want to have different areas to film. So, I'm in my parents' bed right now. My dad has this, like, cool little, like, collection over here on his dresser, and I just thought it would be cool to film in front of, even though you can't really see it because I'm sitting right in front of it. So I had to put her up. So if you hear her meowing in the background, please just ignore it. Because I can't. Pawpaw passed away. I think that my mom said that he was in the hospital. And my great-grandmother was laying on the bed, in the room which now is my room. And she was laying on the bed. She had this mirror on the front of my door, and she had her door opened. Now, the way that this mirror was angled, like, she was awake, she was laying in bed. The way that this mirror was angled, like, she could see through the hallway. My papa was in the hospital at the time, and she seen him walking through the hallway through the mirror. She seen his reflection walking through the hallway from the mirror, if that makes any sense. Like, she seen his reflection in the mirror walking through the hallway towards her. And she got up and she went to the hospital, and I think that they said that he passed away. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that that's when he passed away, or like a few days later he passed away. So they believed that that was a sign that, you know, he was going to pass away, or that he had already passed away, which I think was really creepy, because it was like his spirit coming to visit her to let her know that he was going to pass. It was at my grandparents' house. It might have not even been here. I think that it was at my grandparents' house. My grandparents live right next door to me, and they've always lived there. I've always lived in this house. Kind of been like neighbors. To have these giant, like, cuckoo clocks. That's what they like to call them. Like the old grandfather clocks, or whatever you like to call them. Like the ones that make the little noise and the birds pop out of them. This was right before my great-grandmother had passed away. Every time it would go off every hour on the hour. This cuckoo clock would be standing on the thing, and it would pop out of it, like any other cuckoo clock would do. That's what they called it, a cuckoo clock. Where my grandmother was about to pass away, she kept having chest pains, so she went to the hospital, and they said that she had congestive heart failure or something like that. From like what my parents had told me, I didn't never get to meet my great-grandparents because they died before I was born, so I don't know like the full story, but I did think that these were interesting enough to tell you guys. But anyways, back to the clock one day. Like, it was going off every hour on the hour, like it usually did. And at this one time, it popped out, and the bird just flew off of the cuckoo clock thing. Like, it wasn't like standing on the thing, like, I don't know what that thing's called, the little thing that the bird sets on inside of the cuckoo clock. Like, it was standing on that. Where it came out, it like jumped. They said it like jumped off of the thing onto the floor. Now, I know that that sounds crazy, but you can just imagine it, like the cuckoo clock, then the little thingy that the bird's standing on, and the bird was standing on it, and whenever it popped out, the bird jumped up off of the thing onto the floor. After this happened, I think that they got a phone call that my great-grandmother had passed away. So again, it was like a sign that she was going to pass away. It was like something warning them that she was going to pass away. And she passed away like directly after my great-grandfather had passed away. Freaky, because she died the year that I was born, in January of the year that I was born. And then later on that year, that's when I was born, in December. There have been a lot of like my relatives who have told me that I kind of look like her when I have no makeup on and I have my hair pulled back. Now, like I said before, I've never met her before because she died before I was born. I have seen pictures of her and like videos of her and stuff, home movies, and face we look a little bit alike, but it could have just been because, you know, she was my great-grandmother and I was her great-granddaughter. They kind of thought that I was her reincarnated because I never got to meet her. She died the same year that I was born, and I had some similar facial features and looks to her. But like I said, I think that it's funny because it could have just been because we're relatives, and she's my great-grandmother and I'm her great-granddaughter, and I could have just carried on some of her similar looks or something. Exactly sure, but there are some times where I'll just be like doing something and it'll just kind of feel like deja vu, like I've done this before, like I'm doing it a second time, like it just doesn't feel right. It feels like I've been there before and that's happened to me before. But I feel like everybody has had that at one point in their life, like they felt that way. Where that came from, but I just felt like I had to tell you guys that. Like, a lot of people used to think that I was her reincarnated, but I don't know, because it could have just been like weird coincidences. Like, I don't know for sure if that's the truth, but that's what I was told. I just told me like little bits and pieces of it, and I'm just trying to tell you guys what I can remember. Laying on their bed, and they used to have a water bed back in the day, because I remember I used to sleep with them when I was really young. This bird somehow, like my parents were sleeping, they had all the doors shut. It was that this was after. Wait, never mind. Bird, just like, I think they said it was before I was born. This bird came into our house somehow. It woke my dad up, pecking him on the head. And this is my dad's grandmother, so it was from my dad's side of the family. Pecking him on the head. They have no idea how this bird got inside of our house because all the doors were closed, all the windows were closed. They were sleeping, like dead sleep, and this bird just comes out of nowhere and just pecks my dad on the head, and he had to get it out of our house somehow. But he has no idea how that bird got inside of our house. They said like there was 2 times where that happened, where a bird somehow got inside of our house and they had like no clue how it got in here, which I think is really strange. And I think that they said that that was after she passed away, like not weird either way, I think, because like we don't really have windows that can fully open anyways, like they're like screened in windows, so even if you open them, like there's a screen there so nothing can get in. I don't know how a bird would have made its way into our house, all of a sudden appeared in here, so I thought that that was really strange. So that was, I don't think that I have ever told you guys, because this was something that I never experienced for myself. This was something that my sister experienced, because when my sister used to live here, obviously, and her room used to be my room, which is my room now. Creepy. So anybody who is watching this video, And if you're really sensitive to like paranormal things, like this stuff really freaks you out, like I wouldn't even bother watching the rest of this. I mean, I don't know why you'd be watching it anyways, but if it's gonna freak you out, I suggest clicking out of the video because it's really freaky to me, and I don't know why. I think this kind of contributed to my whole fear, my whole phobia. Dangling my feet off the side of my bed, and I'm afraid that something's gonna grab my feet and pull me under there. And I think that could have been from the under the bed, or the drip, drop, drip, whatever it was called, that one urban legend. It could have been about that, where the young girl was at home and there was a man underneath her bed and he licked her hand, trying to make her think that it was the dog. In that movie, Don't Look Under the Bed, from Disney Channel, because I used to love that movie when I was younger. I'd be in my room. This used to be her room. She used to sleep in there, and she had a bed that had like a little opening on the end. Sleeping one night, and she said she had it pitch dark in her room. She woke up in the middle of the night to something like tugging on her feet. And I remember her saying this. I mean, she doesn't really remember now, but I remember her saying this back in the day, that whenever she looked at whatever was pulling her feet, it was my great-grandmother who had passed away. Now, I don't know why my great-grandmother would be pulling her feet and trying to tug her off the bed, but supposedly that's what my sister said that she had seen. It was either my great-grandmother or my other great-grandmother, which is on my mom's side. But she said it was an old lady, and she was tugging at her feet and trying to pull her off the bed underneath the bed. So then my sister put like blankets and stuffed animals, all that at the bottom of her feet, because she was afraid that something was going to grab her feet and take her underneath the bed, and she slept with the light on after that. And so I think that kind of contributed to my fear of things being underneath my bed and dragging me underneath there. I don't know, but that room is my room now, so that really freaks me out. I kind of don't think that it was my great-grandmother who used to live here. I think that it may have been my other great-grandmother, who side of the family, because my sister used to be really close with them before I was born. Again, I don't remember much of her. I got to meet her, and I used to, very faintly, different moments and memories of her, but I never got to fully like embrace her and like do things with her because I was really young. I used to be really close with her, and she passed away, so I kind of feel like that was her, because she used to play with my sister all the time and, you know, do different little things with her. And I think that they said that she used to try and like tug her off the bed like as a joke. So that could have been what it was, but my sister doesn't know for sure. And again, it just really freaks me out, and I have this whole phobia now of, if I dangle my feet up the side of my bed, something's gonna grab my feet and drag me underneath the bed into like this dark portal or like different dimension or something. I don't even know. Like, I think that I watch too many horror movies, but that's like one of my fears and one of my phobias. So I think I have mentioned that before, but I don't think I ever told you guys the story of my sister in my room. So it's really freaky. I haven't had any experiences like that, thankfully, but pretty creepy, and it still makes me not want to dangle my feet off the side of the bed. Guys, that was my whole little story time video. I'm sorry if this got really long. I'm into making videos like this for you guys every now and then. When I have a good story I want to tell you. Maybe more of these videos be put up in the future. Just figured I would share my whole little paranormal experience with you guys of weird things that have happened in my house. Comment and let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Oh, by the way, I will also leave my paranormal experiences and all my other like creepy, scary videos in the description in case you guys would like to go watch those. So, bye!